Here's a quick and simple tutorial for building the Redstone Castle Door. This door is 5 blocks wide by however many blocks tall you want it to be. An important thing to note is this door is not the fastest, or the most compact, or the best version of what I'm trying to do here. This door is meant to look like a castle door, so it only opens 3 blocks wide, with double piston extenders on either side. It is intentionally very survival friendly and easy to build and understand. It is not complex, but it is meant to be built before you even have to go into Nether. If you have stone blocks, wood, and redstone, you can build this entire door by yourself with no other added materials. Here's an example of how to build the door. Pretend this is your door frame, however many blocks tall you want it to be, and 5 blocks wide. Your door frame should be extended 1 block out in front of the actual material of this door, in this case the wood. On the back side of the door is where you will place your honey and slime. The honey and slime should be placed in a pattern that is similar to the wood as shown. There should be a C-shaped pattern like this, where you will place it out of the honey and slime. They should be the opposite ones, so you want to make a 2x2 and a 2x2, and they should overlap on the top and bottom in a C shape. You need to repeat this pattern for the whole height of your door. So, again, a similar shape of 2x2 with one extending block. And then you create the inverse of this. So you want to create honey like this, and slime like this, honey like this, and slime like this. You want to start this pattern from the bottom of your door and go up. Because say you want to create some arch at the top, then you have to continue this pattern like this. So what you want to do is, we have slime here, so we'll put honey on top of it all the way across, and we have honey here, we'll put slime. If you wanted to, say, make the arch even higher, and you went over 1 more block, you need to make sure this honey section is 5 blocks, and the slime section is 5 blocks, so the slime part will overlap. This interlocking pattern should be repeated for the entire height of the door. After this, you want to place your pistons. The pistons should be placed 2 blocks away from each pair, so starting at the bottom, mentally pair up each side of your honey and slime. So these 2 sections will be paired together, these 2, and these 2. Any remaining sections will be finished at the end. So we'll first start with our first pair. You want to go 2 blocks away, and then you place your pistons. There should be 2 blocks in between your pistons, and then 2 blocks above that, you want to place your second pair of pistons. Continue this again until however high you want. In this case, we have this one little overlapping bit. So we're going to place 2 blocks higher. We're going to place 1 set of pistons. We only place 1 set of pistons because we're only doing 1 more section. Because we're only doing 1 block higher, we need to have a block to attach to. So you place 1 slime block here, and we'll place 1 honey block on the same side, on the opposite side. Now that you have placed all your pistons, we need to add the redstone. So go to your first pair of pistons and have some kind of solid block. This can be dirt, stone, whatever, as long as it's a solid block that can transmit redstone's signal. It can't be glass, for example. Now you want to place it in a V shape like this. This V shape should be in front of this piston. It should not be a V shape like this. You need to make sure to place this on the side of your door that you're making out of the blocks, not the side that there are no blocks on. You cannot place blocks on this side of the door. So you want to place the redstone in a V shape like this. For partial sections, you just continue and pretend there are pistons above. Once you have placed all of the V sections in a shape like this, with the side touching the piston being closest to the inside of the door, you want to place a repeater with 2 ticks of delay in each of the middles of the V, facing inwards on the door. After that, on the back piston, you want to place one solid block with another block next to it, and then place redstone dust on top of that. Repeat this for every side of the build. Again, it should be mirrored properly on each side, otherwise it won't work. So use this video as reference for how I'm building both the right and left sides. Now you want to build a second V. This time it needs to be shifted over one block, like this. This V should be built again on every section. Once you're done building the V's, you should take a repeater and place it with 2 ticks of delay going into the redstone. Again, 2 ticks of delay. This should be facing away from the door. So 2 ticks of delay facing away from the door. It should be powering this block and thus powering this redstone. Now you want to place a block above each of these repeaters. Then you want to place another block above each of the redstone and one next to it. So you should have these 2 circle-looking shapes for each module. Now you want to replace each of the closest blocks of the circles with an immovable block, or a non-sticky block. Non-sticky blocks are like terracotta, and immovable blocks you have obsidian, droppers, furnaces, and other objects that have an inventory. So a barrel would work as well, but it needs to be a solid block to transmit redstone signal. On top of this non-sticky block, you want to place one redstone dust in a plus shape. It should not be a dot. If it is a dot, just right-click it and it'll turn into a plus again. Then you want to place a repeater here with 1 tick of delay, and then 2 redstone like this. And repeat this for all of the modules. After that, each of these sections are now hypothetically complete. If you power each section individually, the pistons will extend and then retract the blocks. This top section, however, because we've only built part of it, we need to modify slightly. If you want to place 2 more pistons, you can do that easily, and that will solve your problem. This front one can even be a normal piston instead of a sticky piston. If you don't want to make another piston, instead you can replace that piston with 2 note blocks stacked on top of each other. This will fix the issue, and it will retract correctly. Now that we have each of these sections ready to work, we need to connect them. Go to your bottommost section and place a block directly in front of the redstone right here. You can just click on this redstone and then place the second one diagonal and vertical next to it. Then you want to place a redstone on top of each of the blocks. Then take glass or slabs, it can be either one, and place it on top of the redstone dust. Then place the redstone dust on top of the glass, and so on, until you get to the height where it connects to the next one. You don't need to place one here, because we've already reached this redstone. After that is done, you can place a lever on this block and power it, and the door will open half of it. Repeat the same thing on the opposite side. Now that our door works and opens on both sides, we need to connect these 2 sides. How we connect them is by placing blocks down like this, and make sure you haven't, there should be 3 blocks right here, 1 you already placed, and there should be an air gap between them. Then you place a redstone torch here and here. Do the same thing on the opposite side. Redstone torch placed here and here. But you don't want to place it in this order because this will one-tick the whole system. You want to place the top torch first and then the bottom torch. After that, you can place a block here and a block here on either side and place dust right here. This will power the torch. Now we need to sink this one block lower because your pathway of the floor is right here. So if we kept going like this, the redstone would be poking out of the floor. So we need to go one block deeper and go all the way across like this and connect the two. Now you need to power this from the center. If you power it from one side, this distance is just too far and this side won't work. So you want to power it from the center. So you can either place your torch here, or you can place a block here with a torch on it, or with a repeater here, and power going into this block from another redstone line. This door is fairly resilient, and if it gets spammed or messed up, it will generally fix itself if you close it and open it again. Now it is important you see this stone block has gotten caught on the slime and honey. You want to make sure this floor is made of non-sticky blocks, specifically right here. So you want to place it on the 5 blocks that it is running across. Only the parts that the honey and slime are going to touch. I'd recommend using furnaces or droppers because they blend in better with the stone floor used in this example. And that's how you make this door. You can make this door however high you want. An important thing to note when extending the height of the door is the redstone dust will only go so far. If we power this, you can see that the dust up here is only on power strength 8. So we can go 2 or 3 more modules higher. But when those modules run out of redstone dust power, we need to boost the signal. The way to do this is by placing a block here, a redstone repeater here, and then placing 2 blocks like this, dust, and then placing 2 things diagonal like this, and continue your chain just like how we started it on the bottom, placing glass and redstone like this, and keep building modules higher and higher if you want to. An important thing to note, this redstone repeater will add 1 tick of delay. So for every single boosting you build, you need to take this repeater that has been set to 1 tick of delay, that is right here in the middle in line with these pistons, and you need to set it to 1 more tick of delay for each one that comes after, each extending repeater that comes after that. So say we had a section above this that all of the repeaters are set on 1 tick of delay. Well, those repeaters have 1 tick, this repeater has 1 tick, so that is 2 ticks of delay. These repeaters only have 1 tick, so you want to set them to 2 ticks for the door to open all at the same time. You will probably never build a door tall enough to use all 4 ticks.